Usually you don't like to play in a dome, but you had to today. It rained in St. Petersburg from the morning to night. So having a dome here, a great place to start this Mets ball game. From Tropicana Field in Tampa, Pix 11 Sports presents New York Mets baseball. Today the Mets meet the Tampa Bay Rays. Hi, I'm Ron Darling alongside Keith Hernandez. Gary Cohen's still off. We'll see him back when we go to Citi Field against the Colorado Rockies. I don't know about you, Keith. That was one of the greatest games to watch last night. First time in franchise history that the Mets came back in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. Terry Collins said that it was an amazing character game. It was a character game in which everyone on that roster never thought they were going to lose.
Well, you know, the game hasn't changed. There's been a lot of advancements in the game. When you get right down to the nitty-gritty, it's wins like that that vault you forward and make you believers. And remember, this is a young club that's basically its first run in a stretch run, and those kind of wins are infectious. You've got a team effort going on here. It's someone different every night. The pitching has always been solid, keeps them in the ball game. Granderson last night lost his 20 straight consecutive games of getting on base. Well, what happens? You've got Murphy, who gets a big home run off a tough left-hander that reties the ball game. You get Conforto, the rookie, gets the double, and then you get Flores, of course, now who's become almost mythic, gets the game winner. All these little things, everybody contributing, it just adds to the winning flavor and momentum going forward. A lot of season left.
And it doesn't hurt to have great pitching each and every night. Tonight for the Mets, Noah Syndergaard. It seems every time I use a stat, they've set another historical mark. No pitcher since 1900 has pitched consecutive games where he has won, not walked anybody, and struck out 9. He's on the mound for the Mets. And Nate Carnes, the rookie for the Tampa Bay Rays, has been pretty good and solid this season too. 16 of his starts, he's given up 2 runs or less. So the Mets take on the Tampa Bay Rays. They have not lost in August so far. On the 2015 Hyundai Sonata by Verizon Fios. Now there's a totally new way to customize your TV, only from Verizon Fios. By Honda, great deals are on at the Honda Summer Clearance Event. By Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. By the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event, for a limited time only, see your Lexus dealer. And by Six Flags Great Adventure, save big on Six Flags Great Adventure tickets at sixflags.com. Oh, fans, get to Citi Field for your chance to see the Grammy Award-winning Zac Brown Band take the stage on Friday, August 21st and Saturday, August 22nd as part of their Jekyll and Hyde World Tour. Purchase your tickets at Mets.com/ZBB. Now, Keith, the keys to the game are brought to you by Hyundai.
Well, we always try to do something that has the flavor of the area we are in. They've had nothing but rain here for the last 2.5 weeks, so it's all about lightning, thunder, and rain. And the Longoria red hot. Syndergaard looking for his first road win, but he's been red hot, pitching terrific all year, basically. And when it rains, it pours. The Mets are raining cats and dogs.
Well, Noah Syndergaard, like you said, Keith, going for his first win. The Mets have won 7 in a row, 5 at Tropicana Field, and unbeaten in August. Home runs, great defense, good pitching from the starting pitchers, a timely hit by the rookie, and everything seems to be coming up roses for Wilmer Flores and the New York Mets. Well, tonight they're going to be facing the rookie, Nate Carnes. The Mets this season have a good record, 12-8 against rookie pitchers, and the starting lineup brought to you by Land Rover Above and Beyond. And you see the Mets lineup: Granderson, Murphy, Cespedes, Duda, Uribe, Conforto, Darno, Kelly Johnson, and Ruben Tejada is going to be playing short despite the game-winning hit by Flores last night. There's Nathan Carnes' numbers for this season. You know, little deceptive. 21 starts, 6-5 record. That's good. His ERA is good also. Batting average against the best of all the rookies in baseball. But he has been a 5-inning pitcher so far here in his rookie year.
And we'll take a look at the Rays defense, brought to you by Kia. Sign it and drive it sales event. Grady Sizemore and Daniel Nava. Nava just playing his second game with the Rays, just recently picked up. On the infield, Cabrera, the former Indian, and of course over at third base, the all-star Longoria. Got a home run last night. Kurt Casale is behind the plate.
Well, Carnes, what you're going to see from him is a good fastball, 92 to 95. It's got some movement, but he's got an unbelievable breaking ball. There's Jacob deGrom last night, pitching in front of friends and family. Only gave up a couple of runs over his 6+ innings of work. Big smile today.
He said he's always that way. You know, yesterday's gone now. His next start's the most important start for him. He said in his post-game interviews last night that he did not have his breaking ball running. We picked up on that. Had his fastball and his changeup.
But it really says now it's 2 starts in a row. He has not had it. He's gone 6 innings in both and only given up 2 runs in both. You can judge a pitcher a lot by how he does when he doesn't have his great stuff. Curtis Granderson has had some great stuff all season long. Took the caller last night with no hits, Keith, but his on-base percentage hovering around that 350 mark all season long.
Hey, 17 home runs, 41 RBI. Eyes for the season. Curtis has been picking it up, doing a terrific job. And as Ronnie said, he had his 20-game consecutive on-base streak broken last night.
Shift is on for the Rays. We're going to say that a lot tonight. Ball 1 to Granderson.
As a leadoff guy, you look at RBIs and runs scored. 59 runs scored for Curtis. Probably on a pace for 90 plus. You'll take that in a leadoff role.
Ball hit to center field. Driving Kiermaier back to the track, the wall. It is gone. Leadoff home run for Curtis Granderson.
Well, I stand corrected. 18 home runs. Just a dead central bomb. Number 18 for Curtis.
Well, first run of the game is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin', Keith.
Belt high fastball out of the outer half. Curtis keeps the front shoulder in. Oh, there it is. There's the result. Rub up a new one.
Daniel Murphy, another one of the Mets hitters that had a home run, a big home run off Jake McGee, the left-hander in last night's game.
2-strike home run, Ron. Very impressive off a very tough, hard-throwing left-hander. So what do you do, Ron, in your first game? I mean, when you're out there, you're in a start, and the first batter hits a home run off.
It's like someone touching gloves before a fight, and he sucker punches you. You don't even know what to do.
Okay.
5. That's the 6th home run, leadoff home run for Curtis Granderson. That ties him with Brian Dozier in Minnesota. Ball hit on the nose again by Daniel Murphy. Drives Kiermaier back. He can't get to it. This will be another extra base hit for the Mets as Murphy pulls in to second base for his 21st double on the season.
Well, is that a double slap right there, Ron?
I think it's a standing 8 count right now to me.
Oh, slider was down, but over the middle and out of the reach of Kiermaier, who can go get him in center field. He can fly. Deepest. Murphy's back foot. Is it out of the box? Just about. Let's see. He's on the line. He's fine. Murph very deep in the box. Mets using left center field all of a sudden. We love it. I love it.
Again, like last night's ball game, lots of Mets fans here. Cespedes up for the Mets. Breaking ball hit the right field. It drops in. Daniel Nava throws the ball in. Murphy froze on that ball, so doesn't score. 1st and 3rd here for the Mets in the first inning with no outs.
Ball hit to the right side of the infield, and there's no way anybody can catch this ball. Murphy froze at second. Oh, boy.
Well, you know, it's interesting there, Keith. If you look at the shift, and they have the shift on Cespedes, you know that second base position was completely open. But nice hitting by Cespedes as Lucas Duda comes up and tries to keep this train rolling.
Nice hitting by Cespedes. Should have had an RBI tagged on that.
Ball hit right on to center field over the head of Kiermaier. He leaps. He doesn't come up with a baseball. Cespedes read it. He will score another double by Lucas Duda. His 22nd of the season, as Nate Carnes is getting bombarded here in the first. 8 pitches by Carnes, and he's given up 4 ropes.
This ball is drilled. 8 pitches, 4 rockets.
Kiermaier, who is an excellent center fielder, has had really no chance and almost makes a circus play in center field, Keith.
This is like an artillery barrage. You don't want to be under it.
Jim Hickey, the pitching coach for the Tampa Bay Rays, I don't know exactly what you'd say to your young pitcher. You know, as a pitcher, you're looking for a mulligan here, but you're not going to get it. And they've hit every pitch. They've hit his breaking pitch. They've hit his fastball.
Did you notice Cespedes, the back runner on first base? Perfect read. He was already around second base, scored standing up.
We saw that in Miami. You see the ERA for Carnes in the first inning and the other inning. So this has happened to him before.
So Cespedes, folks, has not only been impressive with the bat, he has been really impressive with his base running abilities. He is a very skilled player.
Juan Uribe up for the Mets. Had a home run in last night's game. Popped it up. And that ball will go foul. You had to watch that for a while because the 2 upper tiers here are in play. And if that were to hit one of the rings, that was the second ring down. If that hits that and comes back into play, it is in play.
You were better on the Braves.
I tell you what, the Mets are taking some healthy cuts here, and I know the guys don't throw at each other, but this is got to put someone on his back.
Coming inside, still a big swing by Uribe, but he's down 0-2.
Well, we talked earlier in the open about the win last night, the great come from behind. If you look at Washington, they had a devastating loss a devastatingly tough loss last night.
Breaking ball in the dirt, but Uribe takes off. Catcher Casali with the play. So mock cheer here in Tampa Bay as Carnes gets his first out. 7-game winning streak, have scored 4 more runs in each of the last 5 games. We're talking about a team 10 days ago that couldn't get out of its own way to score a run.
It's just amazing with the pickups, the calling up of Conforto, who has done a terrific job. Got a big double last night. Cespedes, of course. Kelly Johnson adding to the bench, as well as Uribe. It's just transformed this team.
You know, Keith, we talked about in the pregame the momentum that this team has, that every single time someone comes up, they think that that person's going to be the new hero. Well, Conforto, in a short period of time, has become a big part of this team. What are you going to do when Michael Kadire is ready to come off the disabled list?
Well, one thing you do, you look at the composition of your bench. And the Mets aren't overloaded with lefties, aren't overloaded with righties. They're pretty balanced. Have a pretty balanced bench, even though they only have right-handers tonight. My feeling is Conforto stays and someone else has to go down. This kid has got a bright future. Seems unfazed in a stretch run. I'd hate to see him go down.
Yeah. You know, there's that school of thought that he'll go down for a couple of weeks because remember the minor league season ends at the end of August, and then the postseason for them. That he gets some at bats, but I think he's too valuable for the club also. Fastball foul, but not held on to by Casali. Travis d'Arnaud, the Mets start to get him going. Boy, you'll talk about a long lineup with lots of talented hitters.
It's just amazing. You look at d'Arnaud. Here we are in the just about getting out of the first week of August. He's only playing in his 25th game.
Fastball inside, catches Conforto looking for the second out.
Well, the old fastball in with 2 strikes is always a pretty effective pitch.
To Milwaukee, the veteran umpire behind the plate.
They had the shift on d'Arnaud last night, RJ, if you recall, and not tonight. A big triangle shift, but basically playing him to pull as the second baseman. Forsythe is up the middle.
Jammed there on the ball to first base. That'll be an easy play for Loney, but the Mets put up another crooked number as they score 3 and take a 3-0 lead. From that lineup last night, Grady Sizemore had one and stole one. Evan Longoria had one that put them ahead late, and James Loney had his 99th home run in last night's game. Well, Noah Syndergaard, I said it in the beginning, his last 2 wins, he's gone 8 innings, no walks, 9 strikeouts in both of those games. Look at that walk to strikeout ratio, 20 walks, 100 strikeouts.
And we'll take a look at the Metsy defense, brought to you by Kia. And Granderson, Cespedes, Conforto, they've been pretty much the outfield against the right-handers. Tejada back in the lineup after a day off. Kelly Johnson getting a lot of playing time at second base. Pretty much a left-handed lineup here for the Mets. And that's the kind of the club that the Mets have now, has given Terry Collins so many different various options, combinations of starting lineups that he hasn't never had in the beginning of the year.
And the beginning of the year, Keith, the starting pitchers really did not have a lot of runs to work with early in the game. Syndergaard has 3 coming out of the box. First pitch ball to John Jaso, who led off in last night's ball game.
Took a caller last night, a big 0 for 4.
What I find interesting is that whenever we go into an opposing town, every media member, everyone from TV and radio will come into our booth and ask about, what does Syndergaard throw? Is it good as everyone says? How's Harvey throwing after Tommy John? Is DeGrom as good as he, those are the kind of things that we're asked all the time.
And I guarantee you when Steven Matz comes back and Wheeler next year mid-season, they're going to be asking us about all 5 of them.
There's Grady Sizemore on deck. Told you he had a home run and saved one last night off the bat of Flores. Fastball moves Jaso.
These 6 o'clock starts are nice on a Saturday. It's nice for the players because they got a day game the next day. It's nice for us.
Yeah, well,
I wish they'd do it in New York.
That's the truth, really. It's not really the players. It's about the people in the booth. Fouled off again by Jaso.
I love the Saturday 6 o'clock starts.
They do some of those in Arizona, don't they? A Saturday 6 o'clock starts or so.
Yeah, Colorado too.
Yep. Fastball down the middle, hit to center field. Cespedes going back, so is Granderson, but it's in the alley. And goes over the fence for a ground rule double.
Well, here we are. That is the 4th extra base hit, and we're not even out of the 1st inning. Fastball up in the strike zone. Jaso all over it. Deepest part of the park.
Well, last night, both teams fighting to score enough runs to win. And tonight coming out with their hitting shoes on. And Sizemore comes up for the Rays. Yeah, that on base percentage, only .267 for Sizemore. Not a good number for a guy who used to have some speed. You know, we were talking about Curtis Granderson. His on base percentage has been around .350 all year. That's where you want it. The elite players are the ones that are near .400 on base percentage
or above, .390 above.
Yeah.
.380 is actually wonderful too. .380 and up. .400 is in the stratosphere. Sizemore, since coming over here, has hit 4 home runs in 20 games. But of course, did he get DFA'd or traded from Philly?
I thought he was released by Philadelphia.
I thought he was released also.
Sure. There's Kevin Cash, 36-year-old manager of the Tampa Bay Rays. Kevin Cash is so young that one of his starting players, Daniel Nava, was his teammate in Boston. That's how young he is.
Kevin Cash, right there, the manager of the young manager.
Sorry, 37. I gave him a year. Must have turned 37 this year. Then when he got the job, he was 36.
That first year in Cleveland. I'll tell you what, this Tampa Bay team has struggled scoring runs and has kind of picked it up of late. They've got some fastball hitters. They had some guys taking good cuts on DeGrom last night, and today so far, early evening, taking some healthy rips on Syndergaard. 2 flamethrowers, DeGrom and Syndergaard.
That ball hit the deep right field. No chance. This ball's out of here. 2-run home run for Sizemore. He hit a home run last night.
A home run trot to Jimi Hendrix.
Well, Sizemore's a 5th home run of the season. Right on that fastball that you were talking about, Keith. A good fastball hitting team.
And this was a rocket launcher right here. There's no doubt.
A lot of reaction by Noah. They have a barn burner here so far in the dome. Evan Longoria, their 3rd baseman and best player up here. 2 for 4 with a solo home run that put the Rays ahead last night. That home run was off Tyler Clippard in the 8th.
Well, all 3 runs last night were via the home run. 3 solo shots from the Rays, and now 2 in this game. So 4 home runs, 5 runs.
What's interesting about this Rays team is that, again, since May 30th, against left-handed pitching, they own them. Right-handed pitching, they have struggled, but not so far against Syndergaard this evening.
You know, it's funny. I just was waiting for this, and I wish I had mentioned it earlier because I was sounded like a genius. When you get a pitcher getting hit hard early in the fastball first inning, they're going to have to change the program.
Yeah.
Now already Syndergaard is starting to throw breaking balls.
Yeah, it's like Plan B right away.
Yep.
There's that two-seam fastball that he has used to near perfection in his last 2 starts, but that one misses.
So we're off to a rollicking start here.
Good breaking ball for Longoria for the strikeout.
And that's one thing that I noticed about Syndergaard, Ronnie, is that he not only throws a hard slider, but he also has one that he can take a little off to the right-handers and get him out in front, as he did Longoria right there.
So that was the pitch you think he's taking just a little
just
off
a
of that.
shade off.
Yeah.
I think it's a great weapon. He throws so doggone hard.
There's James Loney up. Hit his 99th home run in last night's ball game, a solo shot.
For the season?
99.
Oh, career.
Come on. Here's the first pitch breaking ball, but misses down.
Big pull. Everything was more extreme in the shifts yesterday. Maybe not so. Well, you know, DeGrom throws hard too. Syndergaard's a couple miles, 3 miles per hour harder than DeGrom. So there's not as full a shift as they had yesterday. Good pitch.
Well, you like to see that. You saw it earlier on Conforto. Home plate umpire Tim Welke calling that ball inside, Keith.
This will get your attention too. 97-mile-an-hour fastball in the inside corner.
Breaking ball just lined into center field by James Loney. Good hitting after that fastball inside.
Backdoor, tried to backdoor him here. See if it got too much plate. It did not. It stayed on the outside corner. So you know what? You tip your hat to the hitter. He's getting paid too. Not a bad pitch.
Well, probably the biggest surprise for this Tampa Bay Rays team has been Logan Forsythe. You see his numbers: 50 RBIs, 13 home runs, matches up with just about anybody in baseball at the second base position.
It's amazing that bat didn't shatter. It was deep in the pots and pans.
98 miles an hour, Keith.
Ooh. Get out of there. Hurts in there.
Another fastball broke the bat, but it's got enough on it to get to Cespedes, who makes the easy play for the second out. Well, this is one of their bigger acquisitions during the offseason. Asdrubal Cabrera playing shortstop for the Rays. A lot of teams were interested. It was the Rays that won out. Big swing by Cabrera, who's been hot of late. A 10-game hitting streak tied for the longest by a Tampa Bay Ray this year. And he had his career high was 12 when he was with Cleveland.
Good slider right there. Big pull, big shift on the infield. Kelly Johnson in the outfield. This is a good down and in slider. Tejada on the first base side of second base. Murph all by his lonesome over there on the left side of the infield.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice stop by Darno. When you come into these games, you got two rookies who will perform so well. Of course, Syndergaard at a much higher level, and 5 runs across the board before he can even talk.
All the thunders with the bats.
Another breaking ball down and in, blocked by Darno.
Darno, beautifully done. Couldn't have done it better myself, not that I would want to.
Well, you're talking about, there's the umpires: Tim Welke, the veteran, Tom Woodring, Todd Titchener, and Tim Timmons, who was behind the plate last night. Lots of T's there in this group. Fastball hit, and this one dropped into right field in front of Granderson. But Loney only goes to second base as Cabrera with a base hit here off Syndergaard, and they're touching up Syndergaard just like the Mets touched up Carnes.
Didn't get it in enough, Ron. See him set up in, right down the pipe. He gets it in, he shatters him. So Loney, not the greatest of speed, and no intention of going first to third.
We've seen a lot of teams pushing the envelope when the ball is hit to Curtis in right field. Loney was not having it. Daniel Nava, who they just acquired, up here batting 7th in this order.
Just had a horrific year in Bo Sox country, Bo Sox nation. You see the batting average that pretty much tells you what a tough year he's had.
One of the 2 guys in baseball. There's the Thor glove. Like you said, it's the Rays who've been providing all the thunder. I took a look at that glove in his locker one day because it looks so little on his hand. It is a normal sized glove. He's just such a big person. That glove looks tiny on his hand.
It looks like a second baseman's glove.
Right?
Doing a lot of shaking off here.
Well, interesting, shaking off on a 2-0 count. In the last 2 games we've seen Syndergaard, he would just come with the cheddar, but he does not like his fastball so far in this game.
He just needs to locate it.
Change up 2-0 from Syndergaard. Interesting choice of pitches. Why I say that, Keith, is that a lot of times young pitchers, if they get stung coming out of the box, they get a little tentative to pitch to contact.
Well, that's the pitch that Syndergaard wanted to throw.
Nava taken all the way for a strike. Nava, one of 2 major leaguers to hit a grand slam on the first pitch he ever faced in the major leagues. Kevin Kuzminoff, the other. And a line drive again to left field. Conforto gets it with the throw, but the run is going to be held up at third base.
Well, that's pretty good hitting right there, and Loney not going first to third. Loney, excuse me, doesn't score, would have walked home. So now the bases are loaded, and there's no chance he could have scored on this with his wheels.
Well, Charlie Montoya is the third base coach. There's nothing he could do. It's 2 outs. You know it's a hit off the bat. Loney just does not have a lot of speed. And Conforto did a good job of charging that baseball.
Well, the Rays have struggled with the bases loaded. 7 for 41. Nice block by Darno. 7 for 41 with bases loaded. Their last 41 times.
You know what's the difference in this inning is that even though Carnes struggled, he didn't throw that many pitches. It's been a strenuous inning for Noah Syndergaard as Sean Gilmartin gets up for the Mets in the bullpen right away. Every game counts for Terry Collins' crew.
Good pitch to hit. Ball 2. So you've got a pitcher there, Sean Gilmartin, up in the bullpen early. Syndergaard really laboring. They've taken him out of his rhythm. And he's not now getting his breaking ball over and his changeup. So he's going to have to take his chances here. Got 8 gloves out there.
Fastball in hit over the head of Kelly Johnson and drops in. Here comes Granderson with the throw to third base. 2 runs in, and safe at second base is Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier with the slide looks like he might have hurt himself at second base.
He slid very late, Ronnie, in the second. He might have did some ankle damage or a hyperextension of his knee. We'll take a look. Good hitting right here, though. Soft liner up the middle, over the second baseman's head. Johnson. Good base running by Kiermaier, too, which got him hurt. Late slide. What happened? Did he hurt his wrist? 2 outs, everybody busting. They're always going to challenge Granderson. Did he spike himself?
I thought his right wrist kind of hurt it.
No.
See how he grabs his right wrist?
Yeah, he must have jammed it. Yeah, it's
could be a thumb. You know, we saw James Loney before, Keith. He had that kind of, I call it the oven mitt, but that thing you wear when you're sliding not to hurt your thumb. But watch his right thumb as he jams it into the ground. That's
there it is. Yep, he did. He probably, hopefully there's no ligament damage.
Yeah, I've done that before. It's called a gamekeeper's thumb. It's when you kind of, your thumb bends backwards, almost back to your hand. Trainers of the Rays trying to manipulate that thumb to see if he can take any of the pain.
He's going to come out here, I guarantee. They got to get x-ray that, get ice on it. Good base running on the throw, the backside.
And very quickly, the Rays counter and have taken the lead here in the first inning after the Mets got 3.
Watch the thumb here, folks, on the right hand. Coming up right now. Oh. Yep, it just.
Well, he's a former football player, as tough as they get. When he plays center field, he always says he tries to play it like a free safety. But those thumb injuries are pretty difficult to stay in the game. It looks like he's going to try.
All right.
Like to see it.
It's going to get worse, though. It's going to get. If it's going to start swelling, it's going to. No, we'll see.
When I hurt my thumb, I continued to pitch, Keith. But by the time I got to the bench, it had blown up so much that the trainer said, "You can't go out there with that thumb." It's.
Remember when I broke my kneecap?
Yeah.
Against the Dodgers, and it was 88, and I played another inning, and I got in the on-deck circle, and I had to call back to Mel. I couldn't get up. It took a whole inning for it to swell up. Yeah. And I was out for 8 weeks. So I give him credit here. I love to see guys gutting it out.
Well, 9th place hitter Kirk Casale coming up. What an answer by the Tampa Bay Rays against Noah Syndergaard here in the first.
9th batter in the inning. So Syndergaard continues his struggles on the road. 0-4 on the road coming in.
You know, we didn't show this before, but when Darno made the last out in the top of the first, his bat came around and hit Casali right in the back of the head.
That was good. He had the helmet on.
It's pretty easy to explain, folks, when you're watching any pitcher. I don't care if he's 22 or 42. If you're splitting the heart of the plate with your fastball, you're going to get hit hard. And those are numbers, Keith, that you were talking about.
Well, everybody gets, I don't care how good you are, you get knocked around once in a while. See how he goes forward here.
Mel Stottlemyre used to have one phrase. He'd say, other team trying too. Breaking ball up the middle. Hits the glove of Syndergaard, who makes the play at first base for the last out. But the Mets score 3 in the first. The Tampa Bay Rays counter with 4 to take the lead. Going to be able to stay in the game when he hurt his thumb on a slide into second base. He's trying to gut it out in center field. And Noah Syndergaard, Keith, has shown a lot of poise. I mean, goes out there, gives up the lead, gives up 4 runs. We did not see him throw his glove. He didn't do anything.
Very stoic. Love it.
You know, it's hard to do it when you're 22 years old. I remember when I got older, I would just say to myself, hey, it happened. It's done. They're winning 1-0. That's all you have. The only way you can think about it.
Precisely.
Kelly Johnson up for the Mets.
Big shift on Kelly on the right side of the infield, as they did last night. This Tampa Ray team really does excessive shifting quite a bit, quite frequently.
They've always been a big analytical team. They were under Joe Madden when he was the manager here, and it continued under Kevin Cash.
Interesting how Nathan Karn's run. He throws from the first base side of the rubber.
Had a lot of mechanical issues early in his career. Drafted by the Washington Nationals. And this ball hit, but caught by Daniel Nava. Now that's 2 straight at bats. Remember Kelly Johnson in last night's game in the 9th inning hit a bullet that was caught by the shortstop Cabrera, and now another one right at Daniel Nava.
A lot of hard hit balls here so far. 4-3 ball game. That's what the score was last night. Got all those runs in the first inning. And here we are. We saw last night, which you very rarely see, folks, is shifting against a right-handed bat.
How can you shift against Tejada?
I don't understand.
Tejada makes a living on ground balls to second base.
I don't understand this one. This is a bit overthinking right here. Well, they're going to pitch him in and throw him in. My feeling is Ruben's got a great little inside out. I thought that they would attack him with off-speed breaking balls to get him to roll it over.
Well, Tampa Bay has done this for a long time. They've been able to not only shift but pitch to the shift. This is the breaking ball, looks like, Keith, to try to get him to roll over or for the strikeout. There is. He hits it right back to the pitcher, though. And Carnes with the lob over to first base for the second out of the inning.
Well, you mentioned a long time ago, Ronnie, and something in all of my playing days, and I never realized. Usually when you get hit around the first inning, you said Mel would tell you got the bottom half of the end of the order. Second inning's the time to collect yourself.
That's so true.
Have a good inning.
Feel a little more confident against those guys that aren't hitting 300 or more.
It's not going to be that way for Syndergaard next inning because they had 9 batters to the plate.
Well, this is the leadoff home run by Granderson, Keith.
Well, Curtis, who reached base 20 straight times, that streak was broken last night. Starts a new one. 18th home run of the year for Curtis.
Better fastball there by Nate Carnes, but called low by Tim Wilkie. I've seen this before. Noah Syndergaard a lot of times stands up in between innings. He won't always sit down. As they talk about mechanics with
yes,
Dan
they
Warthen.
do.
To me, when you stand up in the dugout and you're a starting pitcher, it's because you're mad. You're angry and you don't know what to do. Breaking ball taken by Granderson to get the count full.
I find it very interesting that Thor is standing up. I've never seen a pitcher stand up. I've never seen that.
Usually you sit down, you put a coat on or wrap your arm in a towel. Fouled at the plate by Granderson. He is just standing up like, I can't wait to go back out there. It's almost.
Oh, he practices mechanics. Yep.
Remember, as boxers, in between rounds, they would not sit down. They would stand up or would irk the other fighter.
Yep. So Granderson making it tough work. There we go. Fundies. So what's he working on, Ron?
Looks like he's working on closing that front hip, because most of the pitches he threw were up in the strike zone. Close that front hip, close that front shoulder. That gets the ball down. Again, another good at bat by Granderson. Fastball fouled back again. Coons is an interesting story. He is from Texas, Arlington. Signed a letter of intent with the University of Texas. Ended up going to North Carolina State. Left that for Texas Tech. And another ball hit by Granderson deep to right center field. And this ball's gone.
Wow.
What a start for Granderson. 19th home run for Curtis.
I mean, if you're a pitcher, you've thrown everything on your arsenal at Granderson and you can't get him out. It's like punt. Off-speed pitch? Yes. No, fastball down. Curtis went down and got it. Boy, oh boy, nice hitting.
Ground ball to second here by Murph. That'll end the inning, but the Mets get the game tied on the Granderson home run. Now 4-4 here in Tropicana Ballpark. I think it might have been a changeup, Keith. It didn't matter. It was a home run. above and beyond. Well, that first inning for Syndergaard, in his first 15 starts, he gave up 4 first-inning runs. This start this evening, 4 first-inning runs.
I don't want to see him starting to get away from his fastball because they've been touching him up. Let off the changeup there. Another one.
I think it's good to go to plan B, but his best is when he's locating his fastball. What I would do, Keith, when a team is on you, is you move their feet a little bit. Throw some balls inside.
There you go.
Just like that. Well, Jaso with the shift, he was trying to take advantage of it and almost gets clipped.
So, another one. Got a little sinking action with the 2 running. There you go. That sets up the fastball in.
Popped up, and Curtis Granderson calls him up.
Textbook.
For the first out. It was textbook. Change up and then fastball in.
All the change-ups, and you get ahead 1 and 2 and pop them in. That 97-mile-an-hour gas, that's going to tie up a lot of hitters.
Sizemore now has 2 home runs in 2 days as a Ray against the New York Mets. He also had a home run as a Philly against the Mets.
Well, fastball, Ronnie, location, location, location. Down in the strike zone and split the plate in half. So he wants to go to his changeup.
Fastball hit right back up through the box for a single for Sizemore. See the shake of the head by Syndergaard, like, what is going on here?
Longoria not having a great year. You see his numbers, but he hit a home run last night to dead central.
Struck out in his first time up with probably the best breaking ball Syndergaard has thrown this evening. Ball hit foul. Longoria a little quick on that. One of the things scouting reports on Syndergaard from other opposing ball clubs is that he takes a long time to release the ball to the plate. So you talked about the Rays and their ability to steal bases, Keith. That's going to come into play tonight.
65 stolen bases, 4th in the American League.
There's a throwback to get Sizemore back. And that's 22 years old. Those are the things that come last sometimes, is the ability to split your thinking between the runners on first and getting the out at home. A little better fastball away, hit down the right side. It lands just in foul territory. Talked last night about this is one of the few ballparks that has a lot of foul territory.
It always seems that the dome ballparks are spacious in every regard, fair and foul territory.
Fastball in, fouled back by Longoria.
Notice that whatever the gun is, and the gun is hard to go by. The next pitch will be the 50th pitch for Syndergaard, by the way. All guns are different. Syndergaard, his last couple starts, 2 starts, hasn't been at 98 with the consistency. He's been at 95, 96 predominantly here so far early. Whatever that means, the gun is the gun. It's all relevant.
What's the phrase they use, Keith? Dog days of August. That affects pitchers too. Sometimes you start to build up those innings, although it shouldn't be affected here in the dome where you have this controlled atmosphere and controlled temperature. Good pitch there by Syndergaard. He's figured out Longoria so far. Not many of the other Rays hitters, but Longoria has.
Sinking changeup. 87 miles an hour.
James Loney, who's had a nice series so far for the Rays. Yesterday against the Mets, his first multi-extra base hit game and first home run since July 7th.
Another 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
You're right, though, Keith. It's not that 97, 98 consistently.
And you don't know if it's the gun here.
Yeah.
We're at a visiting park. I think a lot of the guns are juiced up anyway, just for you folks at home to go ooh and ah. Just missed.
Nice to see him trying to go back to that fastball, though. What did Loney hit for the base hit? A little backdoor slider, so now he's going after him more with fastballs. 1-1 count here, 2 outs with Grady Sizemore on first. Another changeup. Syndergaard's probably thrown more changeups in his first 2 innings than he threw in his previous 2 starts.
Which I feel is his 3rd pitch. And that's good location right there. Good sinker. But it wasn't a bad cut by the hitter. You've got to note that as a pitcher, I would believe.
Well, his first 3 outs in the first inning were all right-handed hitters. He's gotten Longoria twice on strikeouts. He's trying to counter these left-handed hitters, I guess, with his changeup.
Well, Jaso was the first left-hand hitter he got out. He already gone through the lineup once.
And fastball upstairs for the strikeout to end the inning. But the Mets know they're going to have to hit also. And the Mets have Cespedes, Duda, and Uribe coming up in this game here against the Tampa Bay Rays. Tied 4-4 after 2. inning. Look at his front left leg, left knee. Watch it break. It'll break and then he'll throw, meaning he'll bend it and then throw. You cannot do that. That's a balk move. You have to throw and then the leg can bend. And that's why Kevin Cash was out with Milwaukee trying to explain to him that Syndergaard is balking on those moves to first. Yoenis Cespedes up, single in his first at bat. And we got a new catcher, Rene Rivera, behind the plate. Remember, Kirk Casale got hit in the back of the head by Darno. So not taking any chances, and then putting the veteran in there.
Well, 0-0, Ron.
That's right. New start. Fastball down, foul to the right side. Nava with the hustle, but can't get there in time.
Cespedes 0 for 4 last night. Not involved in any of the run scoring for the Mets. The other guys picked him up, but a big part of that first inning with a base hit. Should have had an RBI, but wound up scoring the third run of the inning.
Up and in.
Chin music.
I thought this was going to happen earlier because both pitchers have been shellacked pretty good, and this is chin music. You don't have to explain chin music to our fans, do they? They know what that is. Good breaking ball. Best breaking ball of the night for Nate Karns to retire Cespedes on the strikeout. The Mets' upcoming schedule is brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealer. Swept Miami, won the first game here in Tampa Bay, tied here on Saturday night, and then go back home to play 4 games against Colorado and that good Pittsburgh team on the weekend of the 14th.
In Colorado, that game is in Washington. That big win yesterday, that game is getting ready to start in Washington. Rockies are throwing Butler up against the return of Steven Strasburg off the DL.
Coming from that bad oblique is Strasburg. Karns looking a little more energized here in this third inning. He documented that he has a hard time in the first inning. Looking a little better now. Ground ball to the right side and through the shift for Lucas Duda.
Take that. Sixth hit for the Mets. There's the shift right there, and Duda's saying, okay, I'll find a hole. And he certainly did. It's like finding the quarterback, finding the seam in his own defense.
Uribe struck out in his first time up against Karns.
Hanger right there.
But we mentioned it before that Karns now has given up 15 home runs, and I mentioned that 11 of them have come against right-handed hitters. And what did you tell me first thing when I said that? You said that means he must hang a lot of sliders.
Yes.
And he did there.
And ironically, he's given up 2 to lefties tonight. Granderson, of course.
Ground ball to the left side. Longoria charges it, makes the throw on the run for the second out. Longoria's got some gold over there.
Slider.
This is a better breaking ball, Keith.
You see Uribe can step in the bucket with the best of them. He's just such an unorthodox hitter. And it becomes a routine play for Longoria. Nice easy hop.
Interesting that as Conforto comes up, Karns called Rivera out because he's the new catcher. Want to make sure they know what sign they're using with Duda, the runner at second base. Carnes is #1 in all of baseball for rookies in batting average against and strikeouts.
Follow the Mets wherever you are with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, statcasts, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or your tablet. I just snuck that one in there. That was a tough read.
Fastball and changeup gets Conforto down 0-2. This is the best changeup we've seen so far from Carnes.
Well, they've been giving Conforto everything but the kitchen sink. You know, they're not. They found out he can hit. They're pitching him like a 10-year veteran. He's got to go up the middle.
Ball off the end of the bat, and Longoria can't come up with it. But Tim Tuffle's going to hold Lucas Duda at third base.
Tough call for tough right here. That's a. How about that one?
Pardon the pun.
Really. And I cannot second guess here. Duda does not run that well. And yes, you could have sent him. I can't second guess here. Good recovery from the second baseman. Forsythe. I think Duda probably would have been thrown out at home. I think good call by Tuff. Nice base hit by Conforto. I want to see Conforto use left center field.
It's a little similar to the ball he hit last night for the double, going the other way with 2 strikes. Travis d'Arnaud up to try to get a 2-out hit. d'Arnaud this season 8 for 20 with runners in scoring position.
As we said earlier, d'Arnaud really unfortunate with the injuries this year. Only his 25th game, his 92nd at bat. Defense pretty much straight up. A little pull in the infield. Big hole between first and second.
Called strike from Tim Welke. Thought that ball might have been up.
I thought it was a strike.
Yeah. You know what I find interesting, Keith, with these shifts, because of guys up the middle, it's almost like you're saying, okay, the pitcher's not going to field this position, so we don't even consider him as part of the defense, because that's literally where Logan Forsythe is, right behind the pitcher, Carnes.
Well, they definitely think that d'Arnaud right now is pulling the ball.
Fastball right down the middle, taken a looking by d'Arnaud. And we're still tied here in Tampa, 4-4. Pirates are up on the Dodgers in the top of the 8th. The Cubs are winning again. Nationals in the first inning tied at 0-0. And the Marlins Braves the same. Strasburg got a strikeout in this inning of work. Cardinals are up, aren't they always, against the Brewers? Reds and Diamondbacks, Phillies and Padres have not started.
Well, I tell you, Ron, with the starting pitching, the way the Mets starting pitching has been so outstanding. We're not used to seeing this kind of scoring early in a ball game. Good pitch.
His fastball now starting to find the corners. You know what's interesting, Keith? 10 to 12 days ago, if the Mets starting pitcher gave up 4 runs in the first 2 innings, the game would be over.
Yes, it would be. We'd be dialing it in up here. Oh, good breaking ball. There it is. This is wicked. Yow.
Well, it's these kind of starts is where you see your young pitchers, how mature they are. Now, it's only 22 years old. They've really come after him hard these first couple innings. Can he settle down and figure it out? Asdrubal Cabrera up for the Rays. Hits that fastball to left field. Curling foul.
Got to get that changeup down. Get a changeup up. He got it away and out of the strike zone, but what?
Mr. Met came down for a little vacay.
Made the road trip. He better stay out of the sun. He's awful pale.
Wait till you find out that he's sitting in your row with you on the team plane on the way home.
Oh, no, they're not letting him on.
Well, it's interesting to look into the glove of Syndergaard. He always starts with the changeup grip in the glove. Why? That shows the glove completely open, and then he'll change to whatever pitch he wants to throw.
He's thrown. I've never seen him throw so many changeups in a game so far. Here we are in the 3rd inning.
It's that unusual 2-seam fastball that he throws that he has not gotten command of yet. Unusual in the grip. You folks saw that at home. He had that changeup grip and stayed with it and got the 3-1 pitch over. Has all the fingers on the baseball. That's the changeup grip. And you're right. I've never seen him throw this many either.
Oh, yes. Oh, just missed. There it is again with that 2-strike fastball in after all the pitches away. Just missed. I tell you, that's a strike. He's got him.
It's a good sequence of pitches. You just got to make it. Good job by Cabrera laying off. Daniel Nava up, who had a base hit to left field in his first at bat. Baseball's a funny game. 2013, the Red Sox win the World Series. Nava has one of his best years, coming out years as a ball player. And after that, Nava has a terrible year, and the Red Sox are having a terrible year.
It's a better inning so far for Syndergaard. It seems like he's starting to kind of zero in. He's from Redwood City, Nava.
That's not near you, right?
Yeah, just a little south.
Fastball late. Did it hit the third base coach, Charlie Montoya? I think it did.
It did. He's embarrassed.
Still going with the signs, playing it off. He wants to rub it. Ball hit late off the bat of Nava. And you know, a few years ago they started after Scott Coolbaugh was hit, a coach with the helmets for the coaches. I think it's a good idea.
I'm a bit of the old school.
Yeah.
I think it should be the coach's choice whether he wants to wear a helmet, and if he doesn't want to wear a helmet, then he signs a disclaimer, or you can't sue if he gets hurt. He's out there on his own free will and volition. Good, that's just me.
I like that we disagree on things. It's good. Breaking ball popped up to the left side. Tejada makes the catch for the second out. Kiermaier's showing me something, Keith. He's showing you something, I bet, too.
Well, we'll see how he swings the bat. Remember, he jammed that thumb in that slide back in that first inning on his 2 RBI base hit.
That right thumb, so it's the bottom hand on the bat for Kiermaier. Throw to first base. Kevin Cash is going to be all over Tim Welke about the move by Syndergaard. If Kevin Cash saw it, if he talked to Welke about it, I'm sure that Dan Worth and Terry Collins talked to Syndergaard about it. 2-out attempt at a bunt here by Kiermaier. Wonder if that has something to do with his thumb, Keith. You usually see a hitter, especially in the American League, bunting with 2 outs.
Be the 70th pitch for Syndergaard, who's really had a rough first 2 innings.
Fastball away. You could see that on first base, Cabrera was trying to get a walking start to steal second. Watch this. He's trying to get a walking start, but kind of chickens out at the end.
There's no chickening out in baseball, Ron.
I think he chickened out. I think he was afraid of getting picked off at first base. Let's see the pickoff here. Now that leg doesn't seem to bend as much, so they maybe talk to him in between innings. Runner Cabrera is going. The throw by Darno is up and away. And Cabrera gets the bag pretty easily. Syndergaard is slow to the plate, so as a catcher, you almost have to be perfect. He had a good one to throw on, Keith, but no chance.
Not an accurate throw, but it really wouldn't matter.
It's interesting when you talk about the 2 catchers, Darno and Plawecki. Darno probably has a better arm than Plawecki, but the mechanics of Plawecki gets rid of the ball much quicker than Darno. Another changeup from Syndergaard evens the count at 2-2. Rene Rivera, who came in for Kirk Casale, who was hit in the head with a bat by Darno and left the ball game. Fastball up, hit the left field. Conforto settles under it, and the 3rd out here as the Mets and Rays remain even after 3 innings.
efficiency motels. They charge $10 a day. My first year in A-ball in St. Pete here in 1972, I roomed with Mark Hill, 1 bedroom, 2 double beds, a kitchen and a living room and a dinette for $10 a night. We're making $500 a month. I was taking home $199 every 2 weeks, and that's how we made it there.
It was just amazing in those days. I made $600 a month, and we used to bring home every 2 weeks $158. And I remember instructional league one year was at the St. Louis Cardinals complex with the Cardinals and Texas Rangers. And I was thinking to myself, what did I get myself into? There was one pitcher that the Texas Rangers had drafted, a #1 pick. He was on the off field where no one was at with one of the pitching coaches, and they were trying to get him to throw a curveball in the cage. That's how wild he was. Somehow get it in the cage. Johnson with the line drive to left field, but the nice sliding play by Grady Sizemore.
Sizemore played some nice left field in this game. Robbed. Who in the heck did he rob the home run yesterday down
Wilmer Flores.
Wilmer Flores down the left field line. Made a great play up against the wall. I remember my dad. I had a car, and my dad was 18 years old, just out of high school, and my dad wouldn't let me drive the car cross country from San Francisco to Florida. So I went the whole year without a car. It was around a 3/4 or a mile walk to Al Lang Stadium. In the summer, it was so hot. I had to walk to the ballpark and home after every game. But those were the good old days.
They really were.
I mean, Hurricane Agnes came through. I believe it was Agnes in '72. And it washed us out for 3 days. And we were like in 8 feet of water. We were on the 2nd floor, thank goodness. And we were kind of swimming in the parking lot. And then the 4th day the weather broke. We figured we weren't going to play. It was so hot that it baked the field. We played that night.
When I finally got traded to the Mets, Ed Lynch was nice enough to ask me to live with him on Sunset Beach. Do you remember that?
Sunset Beach is a nice spot.
So beautiful watching the sunset every night, hanging out with Lynchy.
You can get in trouble on Sunset Beach,
and
too.
with Lynchy, too. Such innocent days. And playing at Al Lang Stadium, they used to have a vendor who had been an opera singer. And he used to sell popcorn, but he would sell it by singing, like with his operatic voice. It was unbelievable. Filled the whole stadium. And it seemed like the Cardinals and Mets would play each other every day. Well, if they didn't, they would play at 10 o'clock in the morning at Huggins Stengel, which is where the 27 Yankees trained.
Then you had the minor league facilities were totally different. But it was a lovely place to spring train. I really was sad when we left St. Pete when the Mets decided to move over to the other coast to St. Lucie. I think this is such a beautiful area.
Yeah, me too. Well, especially with the sunsets. Gulf of Mexico, water's a little warmer. Remember, we used to go to dinner, all of us, to Bennigan's, a chain, and we used to always say, where are we going to go tonight? Ben again.
El Caps for lunch.
Oh, El Caps, that's right. Well, it's interesting because, you know, it's the Tampa Bay Rays, but they play in St. Petersburg, and a lot of people from Tampa don't want to travel all the way to here to St. Pete. And St. Pete in our day, as Tejada walks, was really a retirement community when you thought about it.
Well, Curtis makes up for 0 for 5 last night. First at bat, dead central. Home run number 18. Next at bat. That was around an 8 or 9 pitch at bat. Home run number 19. So off to a heck of a start.
And, you know, halfway through the season, a lot of people like to project, you know, where Granderson and Duda were going to be in their home runs. Well, they've quickened up the pace, haven't they?
Yep. And once again, you've got Tampa Bay with a big shift.
It's an amazing feeling, isn't it, Keith, when a hitter gets locked in? And that's where Granderson is right now.
It sure seems that way. He's been having a heck of a month.
Good breaking ball by Carnes to get ahead 1-2. There hasn't been a lot of these good pitches by Carnes, but we were told before the game that if he's getting his breaking ball over, he's awfully tough.
What do you do, Ron, when you faced a batter the first 2 times and he's taking you deep twice?
I'm telling you, it's not a great feeling. What you try to do is just change completely how you pitch him. And he has. He's going mostly with breaking pitches. He's given up a home run on a fastball, given a home run on a changeup. So now he's gone to the breaking ball. If Curtis hits this one out on a breaking ball, he has nothing left.
He's going to punt.
Fastball away. Just caught the corner. Granderson didn't think so, but Welke called it. You'll never see Granderson argue with the umpires. I thought it was away.
I thought so too. Curtis is not a guy that gets upset. I thought the ball missed outside.
I think he is known by all the umpires as one of the best gentlemen in the game. So, but that ball was outside, and he's shaking his head. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th with Daniel Murphy up. Murphy 1 for 2 with a double. He was part of that onslaught in the first inning. Changeup hit the center field. This will be an easy play for Kevin Kiermaier. And Nate Carnes puts up a 0. We're still tied here in St. Petersburg, 4-4.
Yeah, Ron, I mean, that's one of the main things you hear when you come in here as a road team. The players talking about this roof, how unique it is, and how difficult at times that makes it to play the field. You look up top, you've got the catwalks, you've got the lights, you've got all the wires, and honestly, you got a white ceiling. And what that does is it makes it very difficult to track a baseball if the ball goes up and it kind of depth perception wise looks like it's up into that rooftop. So speaking to the guys, the one thing that most of them had to say is that you really have to doubly focus every single pitch because you need to read that ball immediately off of the bat. If you miss it at any point, you're going to lose it. You're not going to have any ability to track it. The one really interesting thing I heard was from Michael Conforto, who had never even played in a dome before this last week in Miami and now here in Tampa. He said the most difficult part for him were the pop fouls, where he normally likes to check to his right to see how close he is to the stands. He said he couldn't do that because if you take your eye off the ball, you can't find it again. Had to use a lot more of his peripheral vision yesterday.
Well, that makes perfect sense, and that brings to mind, Steve, about the Astrodome, and I know you looked into that. The Astrodome was constructed in '65. That's the year that Colt 45s became the Astros. Their nickname, they changed their nickname. And Steve, I think you have something interesting about that to tell the folks.
Yeah, Keith, you were just talking about it, but when they moved in 1965, moved them to the Astrodome as Rivera strikes out and changed their name to the Astros as well. But originally that rooftop, there were some panels up top where the sun could get through. The point of that being they wanted the grass to be able to still grow. The problem there, though, as you well know, Keith, is there was a glare coming through. Players were complaining about it. They replaced the panels up top with white panels. What happened then? Well, the grass died, and that's how you eventually got the AstroTurf formed when they went to AstroTurf to prevent that.
You know, Steve, I was asking Terry Collins before the game because he was talking about the rings here. In 2001, he was the third base coach for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time. And he said that Greg Vaughn was up, and Greg Vaughn, who had tremendous power, hit a ball that he said would have been almost out of the stadium. But somehow it caught one of the rings, and it came down. But Terry was looking at the outfielders, and they were running towards the fence, and he lost where the ball was. What he saw later was that Omar Vizquel, who was the shortstop for the Indians, caught the ball after he had seen it glance off ring B and come back into foul territory, and only the great Gold Glover Omar Vizquel kept his eye on the ball and made the play. Terry said the craziest play he's ever seen as a third base coach.
Well, Rusty obviously was part of that '65 team and played in the Dome, and remembered that vividly, how as ball 4, only the second walk given up by Syndergaard. They come down in pie wedges, and the point of the pie wedge is obviously in the very top center, and then they come down as a pie wedge down, and that's the panel that was clear in the Astrodome, and the light would come through. And Rusty said if the sun was up in a day game, he goes, forget it. You'd be looking up through the panel, it'd be coming out of the white and would go into the panel, and he goes, you'd lose the ball.
Grady Sizemore up for the Rays. We mentioned before the game that Noah Syndergaard in his last 2 starts hadn't walked a batter in both 8 innings of work, now with a couple of walks in this ballgame.
He's been laboring, that's for sure. Good fastball. There's the 97 run. Yeah. Upstairs. Sizemore been swinging a good bat. When you throw hard like Syndergaard, that fastball up in the letters, it's very effective.
Yeah.
It's hard to lay off. Nolan Ryan had that.
The issue is that unless you're ahead, the good hitters are not going to swing at that pitch out of the strike zone. But if you get ahead, you can use that effectively.
Nolan got me a few times with that high riser. It's hard to lay off.
Yeah. Plus, he was grunting and groaning every time he threw it, right?
He was John Wayne out there. He was the sheriff.
Runner going, Jaso. Darno with the throw right on the money. No, it bounces. And now they have 2 stolen bases against Syndergaard. Darno had another good pitch throw on, Keith.
He did.
Syndergaard taking his time. Sizemore asks for time and gets it. Darno did not have a lot of playing time down in the minor leagues. Defense sometimes comes around a little too slow too. Fastball by Syndergaard right by Sizemore for the strikeout.
You see Sizemore glance back at Syndergaard here. This is just good cheddar. So he's starting to find his fastball out there.
It's almost like Sizemore was looking out at him like, I can't believe he threw that ball right by him.
Exactly. It's like, go sit down, grab some pine.
Well, big out here for Noah. 2 outs with a runner in scoring position against Longoria. He's had his number both times with a couple of strikeouts. We talk about pitch counts, Keith, all the time as the pitch count for Syndergaard goes up and up. 88 pitches now, but many of them under duress in this game.
I think it's safe to say that the wild pitch right there, a slider in the dirt.
Well, Darno's been pretty good in this ball game, keeping this ball in front of him. He couldn't this time as it glances off his kind of his right oblique and glove over to the right side. Good anticipation by John Jaso.
Well, this is going to be a game where the bullpen's going to have to be ready to go because Syndergaard's got a lot of pitches. 89 be his 90th pitch.
Ground ball to the left side. Tejada with the play. The throw on the run. It's too late.
Can't happen. That cannot happen. That's a routine ground ball. That cannot happen. That's a 6-3 in your scorecard. And he did double clutch, did it. Did not have the grip. Comes running in. He kind of circled the ball. And that takes extra moment. Good hustle by Longoria. This is the big leagues. That's 6-3 in your scorecard. That play has got to be completed.
And because of the stolen base and the wild pitch, John Jaso gets the go-ahead run for the Rays. Syndergaard, another throw to first base as these Rays are trying to chip away at him by stealing bases.
Boy, I'm beginning to wonder if Noah's going to start the 5th inning.
Yeah, he might not make it to the 5th.
No one up in the Met bullpen. Oh, there's some activity.
Just too many pitches under duress. Can't let him go too far over the 100 pitch mark. He's got 91 right now. 2 balls, not close.
It's going to be Gil Martin again up in the bullpen. He's already been up once. He is their long left-hander, the Metsies' long left-hander.
Good pitch there by Syndergaard, right on the corner in the knees.
Well, 2-0. That's not a pitch to swing at.
Both pitchers have not had control, or they'd be able to take advantage of that home plate calling by Welke, who was given a couple inches off that outside corner.
This has really been a struggle for Syndergaard. Should have been out of the inning.
I don't think there's been a game we've seen him so far struggle like this, Keith. You know, with his control, giving up runs, not being dominant. Throwing lots of change-ups, like that one there, to get the 3-2. Tim Welke, the home plate umpire, thought about it. as he stands up, but he doesn't call it. 3-2, 2 outs. Longoria will be on the run at first base. Duda behind him. Hit foul by Loney. Have to do it again. You see Terry Collins over there now with Dan Worthington saying, listen, this is how many pitches he's got.
Well, they're discussing.
Dan's going to do most of the listening in that one. Longoria off. Again fouled down the left field line, but out of play. We talked about it last night, Keith. Loney was one of those guys. You see Logan Forsythe on deck. That when he was with the Dodgers, he, Ethier, and Kemp looked like they were going to be the core players. Kemp's in San Diego. Loney's here in Tampa Bay. Ethier the only one left.
And they tried to unload him this year, the Dodgers. Ethier.
Longoria off. Ground ball right where Tejada's positioned. Easy play at first base. But the Rays score another run and go ahead 5-4 at the end of 4. Games over 500 with that 2.5 game lead. The Nationals game started at 7:05 tonight. The Mets' highest record above 500 was 10 games. Remember when they had that 11-game winning streak at home? So they're trying to reach that. They'll need a comeback. Good ball hit the center field, but gets down in front of Kiermaier for a base hit for Cespedes to lead off the 5th inning.
Nice hitting by Cespedes right there. Changeup run, looks like.
Just trying to go up the middle. Interesting, his back foot kind of changes positions as we saw with John Mayberry. See Jim Hickey now going out to speak to his pitcher as they try to get their bullpen warmed up.
Everybody's had a lot of pitches here, both pitchers.
Carnes has 69, which is 30 less than Syndergaard, but still his pitches have been under duress, and he's been a 5, maybe 6 inning pitcher all season long.
Fans get to Citi Field on Saturday, August 15th, when the Mets play the Pirates, and stay after the game for a special post-game concert featuring 3-time platinum rhythm and blues artist Neo. The post-game concert is included in the price of your ticket, and it's all presented by Pepsi. Purchase tickets online at Mets.com/concerts. So I staggered through that one.
Oh, both pitchers are staggered. You're allowed. Lucas has cooled down just a bit. The Mets fans start to chant. Throw to first base to keep Cespedes close. Two for two tonight with a double, single, 2 RBIs for Lucas.
It's an entirely different game than the first game, but similar in one respect, that it's been a tit for a tat. One team gets ahead, the other one bounces back. It's happened twice.
Well, it lets you know how this Tampa Bay Rays team has been able to stay just 2 games under 500. They got a lot of fight in them. I mean, you can make the argument right now that the Mets are the hottest team in baseball. They come in here, and Rays and Kevin Cash are giving them everything they could handle. Fastball up and by Duda for the first out of the inning.
High fastball under it. 6th strikeout for Carnes. And here we are in the
5th
top
inning.
of the 5th.
It's a strange game. He's given up lots of hard hit balls, lots of runs, but still has gotten his strikeouts. Carnes has 119 strikeouts here in his rookie year. I feel like Uribe is just looking for one of those sliders that doesn't slide.
Well, one thing's for certain, he will not get cheated.
Again, the throw over to Cespedes. Or to correct that, keep Cespedes close.
Oh, jeez.
Good play by the catcher, Rene Rivera. That pitch was not even close.
There was no reaction from Uribe here. He was totally fooled. Just the last minute kind of did it. Lucky he stepped in the bucket.
Rivera was sitting about 2 inches outside and had to leap to catch that pitch.
Good slider.
It's interesting now that even though he didn't intend to do it, that brushback served as a good setup for that slider. Cespedes on the move. Ball in the dirt. Thrown by Rivera. Too late off the back of Cespedes. He reads it and goes on to third base.
Well, Cespedes showing his 5 tools. And he is a 5-tool player. As Uribe goes down, stole that base easily.
He stole it easily. Logan Forsythe too late to get to that bag. He should have been in front of the bag to catch that ball.
Yes.
Goes off Cespedes, and Cespedes read it right away.
Who's the error charged to? The throw was not in the dirt. The throw charged to the catcher. That's a tough error. I mean, make a throw right on target, and you get an error. Game's not fair.
That's just the fault of the second baseman, just getting there too late. You can't let that happen. Got a shot there of Brandon Gomes warming up for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Not a fastball yet. 1-1 count, 2 changeups. It's been very interesting to see how the Major League Baseball has pitched this youngster. But he's got to sit. Can't start guessing. You haven't been in the league long enough. Every pitcher you face when you go through, you're facing for the first time. You've got to go up the middle, fastball, and pretend like almost you got 2 strikes on you, and battle. Well, one thing's for certain, he's shown tremendous plate discipline. You know, and a lot's going on there. There's so much information that they're flooding into these young athletes' head with the computers and the video. Sometimes I think it's too much information. Leave them alone. Let them throw them in the water and let them swim.
Two good takes there by Conforto on the breaking ball and then the changeup.
5 pitches were 3-2 count, only 1 fastball.
Big deep breath there from Conforto.
Now don't get caught, no offense, with your pants down taking a fastball here. Be ready. Pretty good at bat, huh?
Great at bat. 3-2 breaking ball inside, and Conforto works the walk.
What is that, Lou Gehrig up there, for crying out loud?
I think when you have a pitcher throw a 3-2 breaking ball to the left-handed hitter, it's telling you in the on-deck circle, Travis d'Arnaud, that Carnes rather face you than Conforto. You can work that chip on your shoulder.
You've got to be a rookie having a tremendous year for around a couple months, second time through the league for them to start doing that. Not this early. And again, the big shift on d'Arnaud, a big exposed right side of the infield.
Mm. 3-2 breaking ball to Conforto for the walk and went right after d'Arnaud, Keith.
d'Arnaud can get a little long in his swing. Now he's just come back, so he can't, you know, either get off hot or you sputter a little bit. I could see him just be more compact.
Again, another fastball fouled back here by d'Arnaud. Now, these are the outs as for pitchers that you have to get. These are the base hits for hitters that can break a pitcher's back. Breaking ball down in the dirt and swinging is d'Arnaud, then tagged out by Rivera for the out. We're halfway through and the Rays leading 5-4. in his 4 innings of work, but that'll be the fastest pitch he throws. He's out of the game, and Sean Gilmartin is in after 98 pitches for Noah through 4 innings.
Well, Gilmartin last time out was in Miami in that first game of the series, first game of the road trip. That was back on August 3rd. He's developed a changeup, a circle change. It's made him more effective. He's been very effective against the right-hand hitters, and he is the left-handed long man, and he's called upon to hold the fort.
That first batter's face you saw at the bottom of that graphic, 355. That's a huge number. But in his last 5 appearances, he's gone 2 innings once, 3 innings once. So he is their long man out of that bullpen, and he'll need to do that tonight. It's Syndergaard and Worthen. It's more like the people that have talked about Syndergaard, and I've talked to Terry Collins about him, Dan Worthen about him, say that he is just like a young sponge. He wants to talk about pitching 24 hours a day. He wants to search Dan Worthen's mind, find different pitches to throw. It's an education, and he's getting it from Dan.
It's interesting to see this. It's a change, I think, good change up right there. Right on spot on there. Usually pitchers don't really want to wait till the following day. Your pitching coach, you go home. You had a bad day at the ballpark. Your pitching coach comes over and talks to you. But athletes today, they're very inquisitive. They're more sponges. They want to. Well, I shouldn't say more sponges, but they're more eager to get advice.
So Xavier Cedeno up in the Tampa Bay Rays bullpen. Communication is huge for today's athlete. They want to have that lines of communication with the pitching coach, with the manager. And I'm telling you, pitching coaches really have no interest talking to you after you've had a tough outing. Well, there's nothing to say.
Well, he's also got to pay attention to Gilmore.
That's right. Yeah.
There's a game going on.
Best thing to do when you're a starting pitcher and you get roughed up and you get taken out early is you go inside, you do what you have to do with the bands and ice, you get on the bike or eclipse or treadmill, and you get on and start working out. Do something to just wear yourself out. It's almost like penance for having a bad game. Gilmartin runs the count full on a couple of breaking pitches. Hit in the air to left field. Conforto comes in, goes back, and topples over. And we spent some time with Steve Gelbs talking about how hard it is sometimes to see the ball in the ceiling, Chief.
Well, it looks like he's got it. Well, he'll get needled on that one. And that's why I always think he should use 2 hands. Even though he made the play, it's just a little safety valve.
Good night so far for Asdrubal Cabrera. Walk, single, stolen base, run scored. Hit to right field. They'll fall in front of Granderson for another base hit for Cabrera, his second in the evening.
2 for 2 in the day.
Well, with the left-hander in, we saw this last night. Brandon Geyer now will hit for Daniel Nava. When O'Flaherty came in last night, Geyer came in to hit for Nava. He's coming in now here to hit against the left-handed Gilmartin.
Number 5, Brandon Geyer.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Enjoy more shows on more screens. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Ball down by Gil Martin. Geyer was Mr. Everything at University of Virginia, and Syndergaard's still not going to leave the dugout.
You know, as an everyday player, I never minded when a pitcher got knocked out if he went in the clubhouse. I never minded. Oh,
that ball hit the foot of Brandon Geyer, so hit by pitch. Geyer now, I believe, has been hit 17 times. Let me check that.
Yeah, he doesn't try to get out of the way there.
See more and more of that happening, right, Keith? Guys just don't get hit, get out of the way. Yeah, that's the 17th time he's been hit by the baseball.
Kiermaier, a .241 hitter against left-handers with zip home runs.
Gil Martin looking for a ground ball, but Kiermaier has a lot of speed.
Double play depth.
Gil Martin, who usually has impeccable control, has come out without it so far. Daniel Murphy coming in to speak to him, try to settle him down. Big part of the game here.
Good pitch to hit. We've told you, though, 2-0 counts, tough situations. Those left-handers love that outside corner. It's a security blanket.
That's where Gil Martin went, but he threw it by Kiermaier.
I think Kiermaier's thumb is bothering him. Look at this swing, Ronnie.
Just fastball down the middle.
Let go with the one hand.
And it's his right hand that he hurt.
Right. Just missed. Had the corner, but low.
Well, tough spot here for Gil Martin. He's going to have to challenge Kiermaier. Ball hit in the air to left field. Conforto's under it. No tag by either of the runners.
He stays on his feet this time.
Well, Rene Rivera's coming up to the plate. He took over for Kirk Casale, who was hit in the back of the head earlier in the ball game. Casale's got the power, more power than Rivera.
Well, Rivera's got 0 home runs against lefties.
Gil Martin gets up 0-2 on Rivera. Cabrera at second base. Struble, Cabrera, and Brandon Guyer at first. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. It's usually a setup pitch by Gil Martin. Brush Rivera off the plate. Go back with that breaking ball or slider away. There's that changeup down the third base line. Murphy with the throw to first. It's high, but Duda with the tag on Rivera for the 3rd out. Kevin Cash, the manager, comes out and asks for 1 minute. He might challenge his play. But Duda did a great job of coming off the bag and laying the tag on Rene Rivera.
At the backhand by Murph, the throw into the runner. And there was the tag, and it just was Rivera looking.
There's the tag, but it's a close play, and the call was that he was out.
And he was.
Also, the Mets after 5 still losing to the Rays 5-4.
Series is around the National League. The Cubs again beating San Francisco. Chris Bryant 2 for 3 with a home run. It's 15th in 3 ribeye stakes, and a big series right there for the Pittsburgh and the Dodgers. The Pirates coming up on top again. McCutchen with a big night, and Strasburg right now is first return, 4 innings pitched, only 1 run, leading in the bottom of the 4th 3-1.
Well, Brandon Guyer will go into right field after hitting for Daniel Nava. He'll replace him defensively, and Xavier Cedeno is in the game. They have been using their bullpen a lot, Kevin Cash has, with the Tampa Bay Rays. 49th game for Xavier Cedeno.
He's a left-handed specialist.
Kelly Johnson has had a tough offer. Remember last night he lined out in his last at bat to shortstop. 2 lineouts today to right field and to left field. Ruben Tejada on deck. Swinging at that curveball. Johnson takes off as it gets away from Rivera, and he'll be safe at first base.
Well, this has been a real, everybody's struggling here from the pitchers. Not a bad effort by Rivera there.
We've seen a lot of players, though, refuse to, hustle and run to first base. Not the veteran Kelly Johnson, as Mets catch a break. Well, as Tejada steps in, let's check in with Steve Gelbs.
Ron, Keith, one of the really great stories for the Mets this year has been the career resurgence, if you will, of Ruben Tejada. And, who knows why something like this happens, where it finally clicks in for one player. Talking with both Ruben and Kevin Long, though, they point all the way back to the beginning of spring training this year as Tejada laces that the other way, flies out to right, though. But for Tejada, when he first met Kevin Long in spring training, Kevin Long pulled him aside, said, listen, here's the type of player I know you can be, but it's totally up to you. You need to put in the work. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put a calendar in your locker. Every day, if you do the regular work, you put a check mark next to that day. If you do extra work in the cage, put another check mark. And if you go to the gym, work out with Barwis, put a B for Barwis. I'm not going to check on you until the end of spring training. And when Kevin Long saw that calendar at the end of the spring, every single day was filled up. Ruben Tejada said having that there as a reminder, accountability, it helped. He also knew this might be his last chance.
Well, basically the same conversations that Terry Collins has had over the years. Called a strike on Curtis there.
On a check swing.
Met fans are here in force.
Breaking ball hit foul by Granderson. High breaking pitch taken there by Granderson as Murphy awaits on deck.
That game in Washington, which is 3-1 in the top of the 6th.
Strasburg is pitching well there now.
Yes. Ramos had a 2 RBI double, and Desmond an RBI single.
Desmond red hot again. Breaking ball hit foul again by Granderson. What's interesting, Keith, is that when Granderson was first assigned to the Mets, I think the intention was for him to be the guy who hit behind David Wright in the 4th or 5th slot. He's done a great job, I think, in hitting leadoff this season. What do you think?
I think he's done wonderfully. Really, it's his second year in the National League. He came over last year, and I really feel that putting him in the cleanup spot was a position that he was unfamiliar with. He's in a new league, new pitchers. This is really his sophomore year here, his second year. He's more familiar. He's a veteran. And I think he's gotten better as the season gets along, more familiar with the National League. And I just think he's doing the things expected of him now.
Well, Cedeno has been sticking mostly with his breaking ball, and he gets Granderson there.
Went after a bad slider. Good hard fought at bat. Cedeno comes out on top.
Remember, it was Daniel Murphy who had that huge hit in last night's game off the left-hander Jake McGee for that home run. That's here trailing by 1 with 2 outs. Interesting throw over with Kelly Johnson there. Kelly's not going anywhere, I wouldn't think.
Murphy surprisingly hitting .205 this year with the one home run last night. And you can do a lot of making up in the last, what, 50+ games of the season when it counts. And 52 to be exact after tonight.
A ball fouled back by Murph. Hanging breaking ball. One of the few ones by Cedeno.
There's Dick.
He's a huge Tampa Bay Rays fan. He's here for a lot of the games. Rays royalty, baby. Right, Dick Vitale. Murphy goes after a breaking ball in the dirt. Good job here by Xavier Cedeno in the top of the 6th. Beautiful sunset. Some of the best ones in Florida you get here on the West Coast.
Mesmerizing.
The bottom of the 5th, and facing the leadoff hitter John Jaso. Keith, his right foot is almost out of the batter's box as he opens up completely to the pitcher.
Well, we've seen, it's almost like Dick McAuliffe. Remember him, the old Tiger? That is so bizarre.
Without the choking up. Remember Dick McAuliffe used to choke up?
Yep. He was a nice little player, McAuliffe. For those 68 Tigers.
It's Grady Sizemore 2 for 3 tonight with a 2-run bomb. Hit to the right side to Lucas Duda. He'll take it himself. You know, Keith, we were talking a little bit last night about the Mets bullpen as we see Gil Martin's going to be the long man We see their numbers this season. There's a lot of, I wouldn't say question marks, but a lot of things have to kind of go right, don't they?
But I think they all have. The big question mark is O'Flaherty. I mean, he's the guy that's come here. He's going to be the left-hander to get the left-handers out. He did not have a good year. We haven't seen enough of him yet. Yeah. Gil Martin obviously is a long left-hander. To me, it's obviously Familia closing. You got Clippard as the bridge in the 8th, and Parnell is your 7th inning guy. Robles and Carlos Torres give you 2 guys that can go long. So if you use Torres and he has to go 2 innings, you got a Robles the next day that if it has to go long. So they've got really 3 long relievers.
That's Steven Geltz in the bullpen for the Rays. Yeah, you know what's interesting with adding Clippard, I like, is that Familia isn't as perfect as he was before. There's Carlos Torres up in the bullpen. Clippard can help with that role. But I think Carlos Torres and Gil Martin will be kind of the long men if the young pitchers falter at all. And this one popped up to the left side. Murphy should have it. And he makes the play for the second out.
Well, you know, I've never been one where I feel like you've got to have different throwers, a hard thrower, junk baller. It's all about, to me, if you have having a diverse bullpen. It's all about getting outs. And I really, you know, it's up to these guys to do it. There's a little bit of doubt in that bullpen. But I like the fact that you got 3 guys that could be good, old-fashioned long men. And I'm talking about the guy out there right now, Gil Martin. Talking about Robles and Carlos Torres. Yeah. And then you got the other 3 that are going to be the back end of your bullpen. Because you're not going to be able to have every game where these guys have been so good. There's a ball out on the field. Down the right field line. There goes the bullpen catcher's going to get it. There's not every day, as good as the Mets starting pitching has been, there's going to be days when they like this. And they're not going to be able to go. And you're going to need those long guys.
You look at the elite bullpen. I think the most elite bullpen in baseball is Kansas City Royals. They've got Kelvin Herrera pitches the 7th, Wade Davis pitches the 8th, and Holland pitches the 9th. Why do I say that? Because they're crossover guys. You don't need to have a left-hander or right-hander come in to face a certain hitter. They can get equally the right-hander or left-hander out. But the Mets don't have those kind of pitchers. So Flaherty, I think, to me, Flaherty's going to be the most important coming down the stretch, especially now that you have lost Blevins for the entire year. Changeup on 3-2 that LaGloria takes for a walk. That wasn't a pitch around, but Gil Martin wasn't going to give the right-hander LaGloria anything good to hit, so he could get to this lefty-lefty matchup in Loney, although Gil Martin is not a specialist against the left-handed hitters. Here's the shift. Tejada up the middle, Johnson in the outfield, Murphy all by himself on the left side of the infield.
Just a ton of left-hand hitters in this lineup. A perfect opportunity for Gil Martin to be used in long relief.
Well, Gil Martin to me has shown me a lot, Keith. He's a Rule 5 guy that had always been a starter. They've thrown him in the bullpen and he's gotten the job done. He's had a good year. It's hard to do.
Number one, when you're in spring training and you're a Rule 5 guy and you know that, okay, if I make the team, I'm going to be up all year. There's a lot of guys battling for your spot. There could be a little jealousy. Yeah. Your new teammates. It puts you in an uncomfortable position.
It's like
he got off to a bad start in spring training. He finished strong.
Well, I think at the beginning of spring training, they were trying to make him into a 2-pitch pitcher, fastball and some kind of breaking ball to get out lefties. But that's not the kind of pitcher he is. He's a 4-pitch pitcher. And changeup's become one of his best pitches. And Maloney swings through that pitch for the strikeout. And after 6 innings, the Mets are still playing catch up here in Tampa. The Tropicana, or the Trop for people that live around here. And Stephen Geltz, who's been the most used reliever, 54 games, leads the American League. Plus, he's had 2 starts to go along with that. Came in last night's ball game in the 7th inning to get 1 out, got Kelly Johnson to pop up.
He broke in with the Angels back in 2012. Tampa Bay acquired him via trade in 2013.
Well, let's see if Cespedes can have another Cespedes inning. Last time up, a single, stolen base, went to third on the throw that hit him in the back and was in scoring position. Mets couldn't get him in. Whenever I look at Cespedes, I always think of quiet. The real good hitters always seem to be so quiet at the plate. Not a lot of moving parts. Fastball right there, just a little late by Cespedes.
In. Beat him.
Stood on deck. Fastball up where Rene Rivera wanted it, swung through by Cespedes. Interesting that Geltz is going all hard stuff against Cespedes in this at bat. Again, just fouled by Cespedes on a tough pitch from Geltz.
Good off-speed pitch. Just got a piece. The good hitters find a way. That's as good a pitch as you can make.
Ball hit the right field. Brandon Geyer underneath it and catches it for the first out here in the top of the 7th. Luke.
It's the best way to start your weekday. Join Suki, Corey, Linda Church with the weather, and Caitlin Monte with all the traffic from 5 to 9 on the Pix 11 Morning News, where every story hits home. Shift on Lucas. For those of you just joining us, this is a 5-4 ball game. Neither starting pitcher had it. 3 runs by the Mets in the first inning. Syndergaard gave up 4 in the bottom.
Syndergaard only made 4 innings, 98 pitches. Nate Carnes went 5 innings. Stands to be the winner if the Mets can't come back. Ball hits straight up in the air to center field. Kiermaier loses it for a second, but finds it again and puts it away.
Well, you got there. He lost it. You are right, Ronnie. It's just, I just don't understand why they want to have a white canvas, whatever it is, for a top, not something a little bit of a dark color to contrast the baseball. Met batters have struck out 11 times tonight. And that is it's kind of snuck up on me. Tejada's the only one that has not struck out.
Carnes had 8 strikeouts all on his own. Cedeno did a good job when he came in against the lefties. Rivera pat his chest saying, "My bad, I got to stop that one."
Because if Uribe swings, he can run to first base and be on base.
It's already happened with Kelly Johnson in the last inning.
Rivera's had a tough time back there tonight. They're just keeping the ball away from Uribe. You notice he steps so much in the bucket that he just opens up. He so frees his hips to hit that middle in pitch if you make a mistake. But he's smart enough to cut and slash and look away. Hit that ball the other way with 2 strikes. He's an unorthodox hitter. Very dangerous.
Well, it was unusual. Rivera was given the signs, told the pitcher Geltz to step back. He did not. And Rivera's saying, "Be smart now."
Well,
he hung one, but he still missed it.
That was smart.
Well, we go to the 7th inning stretch, and the Mets still trail by 1. It's Carlos Torres coming in to pitch.
Bay Rays 4-8-0 for the Mets. That's downtown Tampa. And these two cities are kind of linked. You think Tampa, you always think Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Minneapolis, St. Paul, San Francisco, Oakland.
Well, you try not to think of Oakland.
It's Carlos Torres comes in the pitch for the Mets. First ball laced into left field on the cutter from Torres. Conforto gets it in, and Forsythe with the base hit.
Well, Cabrera remains a hot hitter. 2 for 2 on the night.
There's Jake McGee in the bullpen for the Rays. Last night they brought both Hees, the 8th inning guy, Boxberger, the 9th inning guy. Probably the same formula tonight.
He coughed up the home run to Murphy.
Yep.
Big clutch home run from Daniel last night.
We saw earlier in the game, Cabrera, when the Mets gave it to him, tried to bunt. They're giving it to him again in this 1-run game.
Well, the Mets are hanging around, and this is a team that's been finding a way to win.
The ground ball off the foot of Cabrera. Dead ball. Well, Keith, you and I were talking about it before. They have this great momentum working now where all 25 guys feel as though that they're going to, at some point, be the one to make the play. I mean, last night was just one of those games. A lot of things went right for them, and Wilmer Flores was a hero again.
Well, you know, that's all part of winning baseball. That's why it's cliche. It takes 25 to win. You know, you just can't win with 8 guys out there and 12 pitchers. Everybody's got to contribute. So I feel this team was such a big win yesterday. And this is kind of a slog here. But here we are. Mets have 2 more at bats. You kind of got this feeling they got a chance to they can stay within to come back and pull this one out.
You're right. Like last night's game was a pretty perfect game. I mean, both teams played so well in the game. There was good pitching, good defense, timely hitting, home runs. This game has been awkward from the start because the starting pitchers didn't have it.
So a lot of times when you're in a stretch run, games like last night, gosh, as a player, you're totally, it's every pitch. And then you get, sometimes the game doesn't cooperate with you. You play these games where you're slogging through. They're taking forever. A lot of pitching changes, and then it's like the game slows down, and you've got to be on point. And obviously, they are. I mean, you've got 50 after tonight, 52 games. Every game is critical from this point on for all the teams that are in the hunt.
Well, Gil Martin did his job going through 2 innings. Let's see if Torres can do his. Ball pulled foul. Kind of like their own Party City deck here for Tampa Bay Rays fans. And you're right. Last night was the first time in franchise history for the Mets. They came back in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. A ground ball up the middle to Tejada. He makes the play by himself. 6-3 for the double play.
Well, we talked about how the shifts last night. It changes a lot of the norms of baseball over the century plus. No one there to turn the pair because of the shift. Tejada wisely is very much aware of it. Has to make the play. Has to make the play himself. Comes over the bag. Throws off the wrong foot. Nicely done.
It's almost like you use second base as a springboard to leap over the incoming runner. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th for the Rays, and Brandon Guyer up. Ball to right field. Granderson under it, and the inning's over. So after 7, Mets still trail 5-4. Tropicana Field. And you can see it in the distance. Well, tonight is fedora night, so everyone's got a fedora working. Saw the Mets did that earlier in the season. There's one of the Mets fans heckling someone. And here's the Nissan Mets box score. Not a lot or nothing at the bottom of the lineup. Cespedes has had a nice game. So has Lucas Duda. Curtis Granderson had the best game with 2 home runs. Jake McGee into the game, and who's he going to be facing? The hero from last night's game, Wilmer Flores. Flores batting for Michael Conforto here to lead off the 8th.
McGee came into yesterday's game with a sparkling earned run average below 2, only giving up 1 home run to lefties and righties all season, and Murph pummeled him
with 2 outs, a 2-out solo home run. But McGee has been so good all season long. Don't see a lot of different pitches from McGee. Lots of fastballs.
Hard thrower.
Yep. Well, the Budweiser porch for the here in Tampa Bay.
I didn't know Budweiser made a Porsche.
I know. Porch.
Oh, okay.
Slipped over my word again.
Is it Carrera or SC or 911?
McGee just blows Wilmer Flores away. Well, for the Mets, you're trying to see who's going to be the hero tonight. And for the Tampa Bay Rays, they're looking for McGee and Boxberger to do what they've done most of the season.
13th strikeout by Met batters.
It'd be nice to be able to go out there and pitch with just 1 pitch. You don't even have to worry about the signs. Just rear back and fire. It's Kevin Cash. Darno asks for time.
Well, the Mets are down to their last 5 outs.
Terry Collins using his right-handers on the bench. Wilmer Flores to start this inning who struck out, and Juan Lagares on deck behind Darno.
It's an all right-handed bench tonight for Terry Collins and the Mets. Terry opted with the overloaded left side due to the fact that Nathan Carnes showed some weakness on the matrix against left-handers.
You're going to have to explain to me what the matrix is at some point.
I have no idea. The world's getting taken over by robots.
And again, McGee with that high fastball. Lots of movement.
New York Met Baseball is brought to you by Larson E. Bourbon. A 92 proof wheated small batch bourbon. Unlock smoothness at larcenebourbon.com.
Sounds like you know a little bit about larceny. $14 strikeouts now for the Mets. Well, he is just pouring it in there. It's almost like angry after last night giving up that solo shot to Murph.
But as a hitter, you know what you're going to get. Be ready for a hard one.
There's not many times you'll see a catcher sign is the belt or above. Most catchers give the sign, and most pitchers have movement down in the strike zone. McGee's the opposite. He has movement up in the strike zone. You can hear the pop of the glove from up here in the booth.
That's a good strike right there.
Well, the Mets got a tying home run by Murphy last night's game against McGee. He recovers and strikes out 3 here in the top of the 8th. 5-4 Rays. Sizemore with that 2-run home run. Lots of hits up and down that lineup. The most impressive was after the Mets scored 3 runs in the first, they came back with a 4 spot. Wilmer Flores, after the pinch hitting appearance, comes in the game and will play second base. Cespedes moves over to left field as Lagares, who hit, also comes in to play center. Carlos Torres still on the mound. Kevin Kiermaier showed both us something, hadn't he, Keith, staying in this game?
Yes.
Here's Boxberger last night. He's the one that gave it up and got the loss.
Yeah,
his last 2 appearances have resulted in losses now.
Sucked up his 8th loss of the season.
Good cutter there from Torres. Right in on the hands of Kiermaier.
I don't think Kiermaier is going to be playing tomorrow, Ronnie.
Yeah.
If you're wondering.
Ground ball to the left side. Backhand by Tejada. The strong throw and dug out of the dirt by Duda.
Nice scoop by Lucas. Backhand by Tejada. I believe it's a short hop. Yes, sir.
That's really the difference in the game when you think about it, Keith. The ground ball from Longoria that he ran around and did not backhand was the 5th run scored for the Rays.
So we were talking about earlier the long relief. Here's a game where it came into play for the Mets. that they have this kind of long relief now. You got 2 innings from Gilmartin. You're getting 2 innings from Torres.
That ball popped up to the right side. Duda's trying to find it against the stands, and he does. Nice play by Lucas.
Well, in the 4th inning, this is the 5th run right here. 2 outs, runner on 3rd. He kind of went around the ball. Couldn't get it out of the glove, and good hustle by Longoria. You see the double clutch, and there's a difference in the ball game right there.
So, Keith, you recommend a straight path to the ball with the backhand on that.
You've got to come hard on the ball, straight line, cut the distance down, not go around it in a semicircle as Tejada did. I mean, Longoria has no business beating that ground ball out.
The breaking ball by Torres for a strike. I mean, you can make that play if a slow-footed catcher or someone is running.
Well, the Mets haven't scored since the 2nd inning.
In the last 3 innings, they struck out 7 times.
There you see right there the 4 runs early in the Wago for the Mets. Been shut down ever since. And along with those goose eggs, 15 strikeouts.
Well, who's going to be the hero for the Mets tonight? Tejada leads off. Granderson's got 2 home runs coming up, and then the Murph in the top of the 9th.
Nissan, it's your last chance this summer to save on 2015 Nissan. Shop choosenissan.com. Sorry, folks. And here's the promo. I hope I'll do better. Tune in Saturday when the Mets meet the Pittsburgh Pirates. We'll be on the air at 7, immediately following Verizon Fios pregame at 6:30. Catch all the action right here on New York's Home for Baseball. Picks 11. That was better.
Way to go. Brad Boxberger in the game yesterday against the Mets. He had his first blown save since June 13th, but he's had 2 straight losses now out of the bullpen, 8 this season. That's the most among major league relievers.
Well. Let's see. Ruben's got to get on base here by hook or by crook.
Again, shift is on for Tejada.
It's hard to believe.
Well, there's Grandy on deck. 2 home runs in this game. His first 2 times up. Ground ball to third base. Longoria up with it. And the first out here for Boxberger and the Rays in the 9th.
Well, guarding the line as you should be makes it a routine ground ball. There's the bullpen up. Tyler Clippard, of course, will come in if it's a tie ball game. Familia if the Mets take the lead.
Well, the 3 home run game has been more common for the Mets this season than others. Let's see if Granderson can come through. Neuenhuis did it first, and then Lucas Duda, both of them at home. Daniel Murphy on deck.
Keeping the ball away from Granderson, and rightly so. Amazingly, had never been done at home in Met history, and done by 2 guys in the same season.
Boy, the 2-0 changeup from Boxberger. He's been watching the game.
Chased a bad changeup right there. Now Curtis forego any thought of a home run here to tie ball game.
Well, Boxberger's best pitch is his changeup. He doesn't throw that hard, 92 to 95. Just popped up a foul. He reminds me a little bit of Houston Street, the way he pitches. Boxberger throws a little harder than Houston Street.
Good call. Granderson right now has just got to get on base. Be a tough 2-strike hitter.
Fouled right off his ankle. Granderson gets up immediately, tries to shake it off. Hitting that inside bone above the shoe top. That was very interesting. It was almost like when Longoria came in to talk to Boxberger to give Granderson some time. I never saw that in my life. Hit up the middle. Boxberger with the backhand. And the toss to first base. Not a good one, but he gets the out anyway.
Oh my word. The tough play was the play off getting the ball off the mound, and he almost threw it away.
Well, remember in last night's game, Keith, the ball by Lucas Duda squibbed off the bat. He threw it past the first baseman, and here just barely gets it to first base. Obviously has the yips.
Those 3-foot putts are murder.
Well, even though Murph had the home run last night, Murph is your guy who gets base hits. If he can get on in front of Cespedes, could have a big finish here. A ball hit in the air. Longoria going after it, but he won't catch it. One hop into the stands. That was a pretty good pitch to hit there for Murph.
Well, a 7-game losing streak here is on the line. The Mets have won every game on this road trip thus far.
7 in a row. They've won every game in August. And 5 straight here at Tropicana Field.
Well, you got Cespedes lurking in the on-deck circle.
Boxberger knows that too. Pulled foul by Murphy. And the count even at 2-2. Lots of noise here by the Rays fans as the Mets down to the last strike. Looks like Curtis still smarting from that ball he hit off his ankle. Rivera and Boxberger trying to figure out how they're going to approach Murphy. Popped up again. This one's going to stay in play. Longoria, the third baseman, under it, and he puts it away. Well, Boxberger gets the save. The Mets' 7-game winning streak is over. And the Mets scored 3 runs early, but Tampa Bay scored 4 runs on top of that in the first inning.
28th save for Boxberger in a game that was very different from last night. It was not a well-pitched ball game. Both starters struggled. Mets scoring 3 in the first inning, and Syndergaard continues his woes on the road. He is the pitcher of record. He goes 0-5 on the road. The Mets finally lose a ball game. Granderson with 2 solo shots early. Sizemore with another home run.
Well, there's the Hyundai summary. Mets lose 5-4. Curtis Granderson with a couple of home runs. We'll be back from Tropicana Field in just a minute.